Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto marries Talia al Ghul Justice League. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by AZ23AJ and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Amazon jungle. Within the jungle had a tent for a group sent up and campfire up in the middle of the camp. Some clothes like a shirt, armor, boots, a few belts, and a black metal mask with a bat theme were left aside on the bed as the light showed a pair's shadow on bed. Some moans can be heard as their activities were heating up, but one stopped by some feelings. I shouldn't be doing this, the male said, having white hair and two different colors eyes, left ocean blue and right ruby red. He had a fine build for his age with a few scars that haven't healed. This was Naruto Sparta, or otherwise known as Nightmare, founding member of the Justice League, who came here to the Amazon jungle to calm down from what happened not so long ago, but things turn out differently for him. Naruto was hoping to relax or find some demons to kill to calm down from what happened, but he bumped into someone he was familiar with in a way. Now that said person was climbing up over him and purred a little on feeling the fine muscle. I believe we should keep going, the female said, having long auburn hair with two bangs in front and brown-sided eyes. She wore a black top and bottom with fingerless gloves and boots for her claws to be free. She had yellow fur with black spots on her shoulders. This was Barbara Ann Minerva, or Cheetah, one of Wonder Woman's famous rogues. She had been hiding in the jungle to relax and find someone to talk after seeing Naruto bunching some thugs down in pure rage, which got her turned on to say the least. The fur-covered woman had pushed a stroke of luck and now was enjoying it, but something was stopping them from going in. Barbara, Naruto said with a low moan and tried to control himself from the actions he was feeling. Yes, Barbara purred as she licked the neck and started to saddle the young man before her. We need to stop, the white-haired man said, feeling he was betraying someone, which was true in some way or maybe not. I don't think so. We are getting started, the auburn-haired woman said as she reached down to unbuckle the pants, but was stopped. No. Having memories of Amazon princess flashing in Naruto's mind, which the cheetah woman can't tell, and was a little angry. Why do you have that damn woman in your mind? She has done nothing to replay your feelings, and if she cares about you then she wouldn't hurt you very badly. No cut, stab, or hits, but the heart, your strong heart that can be hurt in a bad way, Barbara said, having a finger trancing the fine muscle to the heart. Naruto started, but stopped himself and seeing the truth for once. If Diana or Wonder Woman cares about him then she wouldn't do what she did to him and pick someone else as she did. If she cares for him then she would have thought twice about stopping herself from saying those words and actions had done to him. What Diana had done to you, Naruto, is unthinkable, and I will never do that to you, Barbara said with a small kiss to lips and moved down the neck. You were just trying to seduce me and stab Diana in a way, Naruto said, controlling himself and not give in to his demon heritage. I'm not seducing you. You're willing just as I am. I might be doing this to hunt Diana, that's true, but not anymore. Not since you told me what she did and the damage done to you. And to be honest, you have made a great impression on me. Very much that has turned me on, Barbara said, stopping her kisses and faced the young man. So what do you want? Without a word, Naruto leaned forward and captured Barbara's lips, kissing in lust, passion, and hunger. Wanting to move on from the pain and give in to his demon heritage, the young man pushed the cheetah lady down on the bed with him on top. The pair hungry kiss each other, having them move more and get more than what the other was offering. Naruto moved his hands, one grabs the fine ass and others on the breast to give attention, which caused a furred woman to moan and delightful from the pleasure. Barbara had her arms wrapped around his neck and legs around his waist, keeping him in place as she pushed her tongue for more. The pair then battled with their tongues, getting the other to tease each other and gain the upper hand. In the end, the batted won and wanted the cheetah. The pair broke off, having a trail of saliva coming out and painted to get some air back. They find themselves facing each other and up, still lock in position and ready to pounce. Barbara licked her lips as she started to fully unbuckle and remove the pants to see a bridge forming up in the black boxer shorts. She rubbed it, getting moans from her soon-to-be lover. Oh my, someone wants to say hello, Barbara purred before pulling the boxers down and blushed at the size. Are you sure that your swords, claws, and guns are you big weapons, because I see the biggest one before me, she said, having her tongue lick the sides and move around before sucking the whole thing, getting Naruto to moan. Naruto then had his hands holding Barbara's head, feeling the auburn hair and enjoying the feeling as his moans increased. She licks it up as she bobbles her head, having her tongue move and sucks on the member to get more. The white-haired man left hand moves down on the backside to the tail that was moving and stroke it, getting some moans and purrs coming out. He was close and shot his hot comb in her mouth. The auburn-haired woman almost choked on the hot juice hitting her mouth to her throat. She held it in, taking it all and raised up to lick the rest off her lips. Tasty, that might be my new favorite flavor, Barbara commented before taking the gloves and boots off. You should know that since becoming a humanoid or metahuman cheetah, I have some quirks from the animal other than claws, she said before reaching back to her top and ready to remove it. Like? Naruto asked, but got the idea. Pete, mating season. I never come to that moment as I hunt to calm my needs, but tonight I want you, Naruto. The cheetah wants her mate to mate her and become one. Can you give this cheetah what she wants? Naruto knows a challenge when he sees one and felt it, which his demon heritage wants to bang the hot sexy cat lady before him. He wants to mate with a strong and wild woman, which Barbara fits them all. Naruto tackled Barbara into the ground and took her top off in a quick motion to her surprise and pleasure. It was odd seeing breast covered in fur, but he gave them pleasure and got moans on to keep going. The passion kiss resumes as the pair pleasure the other while taking the last of their clothes off and get ready for the final act. The bat was ready to mate the cheetah. Naruto had kept the passion kiss going with him, giving everything to Barbara, getting her to moan and yell out loud in pure pleasure as he entered her. It was weird at first, but changed as the match their moment. The bat pushing in and out, getting the sound of flesh hitting each other and hot juice coming closer. They hungry kissed the other, holding their loud yell and moans as they final coomed as one. The hot juice started to come out as the pair coomed together. They kept going it like wild animals in heat and felt the great pleasure of doing it. Their last kiss ended, having both taking breaths for air and rest their foreheads up against each other. Naruto had brought up his black cape to be blanket for the pair to rest in, as Barbara held onto him with a smirk on her face. Was not so bad. Barbara teased, rubbing herself onto her mate. No, in fact it was enjoyable and amazing, Barbara, Naruto admitted, feeling reborn and enjoy it. I'm glad because we can this as long as you want. I think I can agree with that. If you are willing to follow some rules of mine, then I think we can work a great agreement. Fair enough, my dear knight. The pair slept under the peaceful night and enjoyed each other's company. One is reborn and healed. And the other gets to be with the one that needs a strong feeling her in. Naruto closed his eyes and started to remember how he was found to later have this life. Naruto had lost his parents years ago by some demons who were hunting for the bloodline of Sparta, but got to the parents instead of their son, who watched them kill his parents in front of him. He escaped and survived that fateful night, which he was found by the cops, who claimed that his parents died in a fire. Naruto was not only one who lost his family, that dies as another named Grayson who lost him as well, and that was the first day they meet. The boys bond a bit and felt at peace even in the sad moment. They were adopted by Bruce Wayne, who later was the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Naruto and later became Blue Wing and Robin to fight alongside Bruce as the dynamic trio of Gotham. One bat and two birds to protect Gotham. In time, had left the nest, stepping out of Bruce's shadow and become his own person, forming the Teen Titans and later became Nightwing. Naruto did the same but stay in Gotham a bit and run a bar named Devil May Cry to start up his business, the family business on hunting demons or devils around the world. He dropped the title of Blue Wing, having the suit with Bruce in the Batcave, and had a spar in his bar to remember the adventures he had with a man that was like a father to him. From inspiration and admiration, Naruto made a new suit to honor his adopted father and grandfather by becoming Nightmare. The white-haired man shook out of his thoughts and decided to rest with his lover as she was asleep and enjoyed the warmth. The day may have been a hard day filled with heartaches, but tonight was a night of rebirth and love, which Naruto smiled at that and could tell that from this day would be interesting later on. Gotham Devil May Cry. The club known as Devil May Cry wasn't your normal bar. This place was created in secret by the vigilante known as Nightmare, the first apprentice of the Dark Knight Batman. Right now, we find ourselves inside this said bar, where, located in the back room of the bar, we can see a large room with a bowling pool and a jump box located inside, along with a large desk placed at the wall from the end of the room, as multiple swords, daggers and even guns were placed on. Walking toward the large desk, we can see a pretty tall man that was also shirtless, showing his musculous build and multiple scars that were covering almost his entire body. He had spiky white hair, the whiskers marks on each one of his cheeks, and a pair of different colored eyes, his left one being blue just like the oceans and the sky, while his right one was red, a color that could match that of blood itself. This young man was Naruto Uzumaki Sparta, the mysterious vigilante known as Nightmare, and also the grandson of one of the strongest beings from the world, the Demon Lord Sparta, making him a half-demon and half-human. As he walked toward his desk, without even looking, Naruto kicked his chair, making it to spin around in midair, and as it fell back on the ground, the white-haired man sat on it perfectly as he placed his legs on his desk, the impact making a piece of pizza that was located on the said desk to fly in midair and land on his hand, this making the young Sparta to smile. "Yeah, still got it," Naruto said as he began to eat the slice without a care in the world as he continued his action. Naruto looked at the two pictures that he had on his desk, making him to smile as he looks at the pictures of a black-haired beautiful girl with blue eyes that was winking at him and the other one that showed a red-haired cheetah girl that licked her lips and showed her claws at the camera, both making him feel an enormous amount of happiness in his chest. You know, I would be a waste to just watch and not enjoy yourself with a slice, you know. Naruto asked as a dark figure walked out from the shadows of the room, the figure being dressed in a ninja uniform that Naruto was very familiar. I have come to deliver a message for Nightmare, at the order of the League of Assassins, the ninja said as Naruto looked at him with a raised eyebrow. Oh? And what is this message? Does the old man have some bussiness with me? Naruto asked as the assassin was in front of his desk. It is more like an invitation, the assassin said as he placed his hands on the desk. Please, accept it, the assassin said as he threw the desk in the air and took out his blade in order to slice Naruto. However, the young Sparta jumped in the air and took out his guns, ebony and ivory, and without wasting a second shoot the assassin's sword, destroying it, but also shoot his right should too, making him to cry in pain. When the desk finally hit the ground and Naruto landed on it, he saw that the assassin was gone, as a small bath of blood was leading toward a shattered window. An invitation, huh? Naruto asked as he walked toward the place where the assassin was and saw a small piece of paper with an address written on it. The Gotham Bay, huh? Classic, Naruto commented as he began to prepare for his meeting. Time skip. We can see Naruto, or as he was known as Nightmare, since right now he was dressed in his complete armor bat costume, looking at a large boat that was waiting at the ends of the bay, most likely waiting for him. As he jumped on the main deck of the ship, Naruto noticed that there were no guards as he couldn't feel anyone around him. Weird, this isn't Ra's style. Something is wrong, Naruto thought as he walked inside the ship, finding himself into a very luxurious room with a romantic aura around it. It seems that you got my message, but you could have at least restrained yourself from shooting my assassin, a female voice said in a seductive manner as a figure appeared in front of Naruto. The figure was a gorgeous woman with long dark brown hair, green emerald eyes and a mature figure that could make anyone to drool, dressed in an elegant purple dress that shows many of her forms, especially her chest and legs. This was Talia al Ghul, the daughter of the most deadly assassins the world had ever seen, Ra's al Ghul. Talia? A shocked Naruto asked as Talia smiled at him and began to approach the masked warrior. It's been a while, Naruto, you've grown, Talia said in a lustful voice. Yeah, happy to see that you have not changed, Naruto said, making Talia to smile as she placed her hands on his mask and took it off, revealing his handsome face to her. Me too. If I remember correctly, it has been almost 8 years since we last saw each other. Talia said. Indeed, I still have the scar, Naruto said as Talia began to rub his chest. What can I say? A girl knows what she wants, Talia said as she walked away from him and took 2 glasses of whiskey for them. Pair for a drink? She offered. The last time I accepted a drink from you, I blacked out and got the scar from my chest, Naruto said, getting Talia to smirk. Was it all bad? Talia asked with a smile as she began to remember the first night that she spent with the white-haired Sparta. After he heard this and seeing as Talia places her hands on his chest and raised her bare leg around his lower half, made the young Sparta to look at her with a loving face. No, can't say that I hated it. To tell the truth, I always wanted to see what would have happened after that night if I didn't left, Naruto said with a hidden sadness in his words, as Talia smiled at him and placed a hand on his cheek, rubbing it in a loving manner. Without any of them saying anything, the two of them began to share a deep kiss, filled with love, lust and desire for each other, not caring for anything around them. After a few more seconds, the two of them separated, as Talia looked at Naruto with a loving face. You're not the only one, Naruto. After that night, and maybe even before, I couldn't stop thinking of how the two of us could have ended, but that was in the past, and now, maybe we can start things over, Talia said as Naruto smiled. I would like that, Naruto said, however, he noticed a hidden sadness in Talia's eyes. Unfortunately, things once again began to get more complicated, Talia said. What do you mean? Naruto asked. My father is dead, Talia, shocking Naruto. Ra's? The stunned Sparta asked. How many fathers do I have? Amused Talia asked by his question. Right, sorry. But how did this happen? I always saw him as an unstoppable force, no matter the odds he always managed look like he was, Naruto began. Indestructible? Like you and Bruce? Talia asked. Yeah. How did this happen? Naruto asked as he began to remember his past with the master assassin, a man that sometimes he looked up to like a teacher. He was killed by Destruct, a former student of his that was supposed to take his place. Well, until father heard about Bruce, or rather, after he met you, Talia said, confusing Naruto. What do you mean? Naruto questioned. My father wanted to make Bruce the new master of the league, but after he met you, he decided to change his mission. He took more interest in you than he did for others, even Bruce. He saw you as the true heir to his teachings and his League of Assassins, Talia explained as Naruto nodded, still shocked from what he just heard. However, now everything has changed. With his death, District is hunting us in order to gain the full control over the League and make sure that no one stand in his path, she added. Us? Naruto asked as Talia smiled at him. Not you, Naruto, and neither Bruce. I am referring to me and my son, Talia said as the door behind her opens, revealing a young boy with short spiky black hair and green eyes, dressed in an assassin outfit. Naruto, meet your younger brother, Damien, she introduced as Naruto looked very shocked as he already understood everything. The boy looking like the younger clone of his adoptive father. Don't look so shocked, brother, this is new for me too, Damien said, getting Naruto's side and looked at Talia. Should I ask? Naruto asked. I told you that before he met you, father was interested in Bruce more than anything. Believe me or not, after the two of you met, I actually thought of something similar, Talia said, looking at the white-haired grandson of Sparta with a lustful look in her eyes as she licked her lips at him. I can just tell that things will get more complicated from now on, Naruto thought, knowing that this was going to be a long night and another meeting would happen. Indeed it would, and only one way to find out. Atkov. Yeah, so that's what happens and here we are, Naruto said without his mask and talked about the events of what happened with his adopted father, Bruce Wayne, aka the Dark Knight himself, Batman. After taking his younger brother and driving to the Batcave to meet their father, Naruto had told Bruce all about Damien and how he was born, which won't be shared out loud around 10-year-olds. Bruce groaned, being in deep thought of what Naruto had told him and said, you plan on leaving him with me? Yeah, as the kid needs to know his father and maybe take up the family business as it's been a long time since you had a partner after Tim decided to join the Titans fully. So why not, old man, Naruto said with a shrug of his shoulders. Not sure about that, but noted as he has skills, Bruce commented, seeing Damien throwing some knives at target shots. I can tell, but I'm more surprised that Roz is dead and that he wanted me to be his heir to the League of Assassin, the Sparta said, remembering what Talia had told him. Same. After knowing Roz and how long he has done to avoid death, it seems unlikely for him to give up now. And him to make you his heir is surprising, but he has been looking for one for a long time now. Through, first District Georgia, you, and now me. What a selection he has. I would have to make a call to Oliver and talk with his wife about her father's death if I can, but she should already know by now. Agree. Naruto had a lot of friends and contacts over the years as Blue Wing to Nightmare. He was the co-leader of the Teen Titans, being one of the founding members before on his own to become Nightmare and open up his bar business on hunting demons devils. Is he a member of the Justice League? Yes he is and has been away from the team for some time now after what happened between him and a certain Amazon. You could come back to the League, Naruto, Bruce said, seeing and knowing that his adopted son was having troubles and hasn't been on the League for some months now. Yeah, but no. I'm good, Naruto said before putting his mask helmet back on and was close on leaving. Flash and Green Lantern missed their fun buddy, Bruce said, remembering the two talks on where their fun bat is at. If Barry, Hal, Victor want to hang, tell them to come to my bar for a drink, the masked hunter said, feeling a little bad on not seeing his friends, but he was dealing with a few things of his own and they could come to his bar for a good talk over a few drinks. Naruto got along with a good number of members in the Justice League, finding Flash, Green Lantern and Cyborg to be a fun company to lighten up the place as the blonde would say. He was still sore and hurt from what Diana said and done to him. She broke his heart in more ways than one and said things that made him almost let his demon half out. If she was his friend and someone he cares about, she would have thought twice of doing what she had done and things she said. Naruto shook his head, not bring up the past and move on as he is happy with the lucky cat lady he has. And a hot magician girl he could call up. Oh yeah, he knows a good number of girls over the years and has a history with them. Hey, blame his grandfather's great devil looks and adopted father's actions. It's a blessing and a curse. I will inform them and here's a mission, Bruce said before handing Naruto a file to go over, a demon hunt. Bruce knows that Naruto is hiding something and can tell that is bugging him. So much that it made him not want to be around the League for now or be a part of it. The Dark Knight is going to find out sooner or later, but first the mission for the blonde. Oh, Bruce knows all about Naruto and his demon hunting business or demon slaying. He doesn't fully support his decision about killing, but understands why Naruto has to be the one to it and we will leave it at that. Thanks, Naruto said before heading to his ride and get ready for his next demon hunt. He was about to leave, but stopped and saw that Damien was in front. Sorry little bro, but this is my mission, the masked bat said. I can help, Damien said. I have no doubt you would, but this is a little over your league, Damien, and your mother will have my head if I let you a part of my demon hunting jobs. Sky seemed close to her. Yeah. Before Damien could say any more, Naruto had started his ride and took off, having his motorcycle come to life and drove out of the Batcave. I really wish Master Uzumaki could have stayed for some tea, Alfred said as he came back to the cave with some tea which Bruce took a cup. Maybe later, Alfred. I have a feeling that Naruto would come back more often. And Damien, clean up the equipment and we will talk more about your forms, Bruce informed, which made Damien smiled a little of him giving him attention. Things would be interesting around here for now on. Abandoned part of Gotham. An abandoned place in Gotham, we see Nightmare coming in on his motorcycle to the last place that a demon was sighted. He parked his bike, turning it off, and started to walk around to find the demon or two that are here. Naruto hummed in thought as he walked into an old church that was burned to the ground and had nothing left but an underground hole that screams demon lair. Nightmare fell down the hole before his cape formed into demonic bat-like wings and slow his falling down with a flap of his wings. He touched the ground and noticed ice around the area in which his wings formed back into a cape. The Spadra drawn his attention to the middle of the room to see a massive dog with 3 heads frozen and chained, which he finds a little cool. Soon enough the massive 3-headed dogs are Cerberus, one of them awake from their frozen prison by the young man's demonic aura. Cerberus roared and walked to the mortal that deers step in their land. As they roared, ice cracks were thrown across the room, which Naruto took out his demon-slaying sword, Rebellion, and swing it to cut a massive piece flying at him in half. He then placed his sword back in its sheath and knows a show will start. Leave now, mortal. The likes of you are forbidden in this land. You who are powerless are not worthy to set foot here. Cerberus roared, trying to break the chains free. Wow, I've never seen a talking mutt or hunted a Cerberus before. You know, in a dog show, you definitely take first place, Nightmare said, which angered the guard dog. You, a mere human, make a mockery of me. The guard dog roared, breaking a few chains off from their shoulders before launching a powerful blast demonic ice magic towards the masked knight, which he jumped in the air to avoid the attack and land back down. Easy, Fido. How about I take you out for a walk? Come on puppy, let's go. Come on boy. Nightmare taunted. I'll regret this, you worm. It's showtime. Come on. The masked bat said, having his hand formed a come and get me signal to taunt. Nightmare rushed at the guard dog, dodging the snapping jaws, and drew Rebellion to strike the beast. A massive cut hit on of the heads before the second one, which caused the beast to fire a powerful ice wind in anger. The Spadra jumped in the air, having his cape to slow his landing, and unloaded his pistols onto the guard dog, getting him to roar in pain as the bullets broke the ice to the skin apart to bleed. Nightmare then landed on the ground before dodging another attack and swung his devil-slaying sword upwards, cutting left the dog head clean off and before it downward strike to the other head. This made the last head howled in the pain of losing 2 heads and tried to launch a powerful blast of ice magic but was stopped when the half-demon's eyes on his mask fired a burst of fire out. Cerberus was launched back into his dog hole in pain and was in shock of such a mere human beating him, it was unbelievable. Yao, you are not human, are you? Cerberus asked as the Sparta walked towards him. Maybe, maybe not, Nightmare commented with a smirk. Regardless, you have proved your strength. I acknowledge your ability. Take my soul and go forth. You have my blessing. Cerberus said before having his whole body glow white, allowing his soul to be taken by the grandson of Sparta. In place of the white ball of light appeared a new weapon, a devil arm for the young Sparta to take. The weapon was a tripartite nunchaku, being ice cold to the core in Badass in Naruto words. Nightmare swung the tripartite nunchaku, getting a better use for it before stopping it and caused a wind to blow around the whole area, opening the path and cleaning up the mess of dogshit that is still in the area. All too easy. Time skip. After flying out and walking to his ride, Nightmare had put Cerberus in his dimension pocket to hold his devil arms. A great trick he learns from a certain magician that knows backward words. I might have to call Z sometime and show her the new devil arm I required, Naruto thought as he always shows his new devil arms to her and sometimes hands them to her for safekeeping. That would be called, but after this job, a few other things and a date with a certain cheetah. Now where the hell is my ride, he said out loud, finally noticing that he was walking much further than he parked and couldn't find his ride. To answer his question, his motorcycle was launched towards him and caused the young demon hunter to use Rebellion to cut the ride in half. Nightmare was pissed and turned to see the asshole who throws his ride at him. It was a demon, male. The demon appears as a tall, winged humanoid demon with 2 ridged horns and purple glowing eyes. Its entire body is covered with dark gray, metallic armor. It has 2 wings which it usually holds circling its shoulders. It wields an enormous sword consisting of 4 distinct blades with thorn-like serrations, with a hollow center that glows purple lightning crackling over the blades. The sword has the ability to change both size and shape, appearing in the form of a lance, with the blades spiraling around each other from the looks of it. Hey asshole, you know how much money and time it took me to make that? Of course, you won't know, but come on man, Nightmare said as he draws out his guns and knows a hard fight was coming. The creature roared one word, Spadra. Nightmare smirked a little, seeing the creature or no as Cavalier swing his sword to spark purple lightning out. "Oh, interesting. Here we go," the young Sparta said before drawing his pistols, ebony and ivory, unleashing a hailstorm of bullets down to the demon. Cavalier used its wings as a shield to protect itself against the bullets and walked towards its prey with the sword sparking with more lightning. That was a mistake. Nightmare kept unleashing the hailstorm of bullets as he dashed forward with flames following behind. He put his pistols away and draw out Rebellion fully for action. Naruto swung his blade downward, breaking the wings apart and caused massive bleeding, which caused the demon to let his garden wide open for more. He swung his sword a few times at the demon and caused it to unleash lightning up, which he doubled back to a safe place. Cavalier roared before swinging its blade towards the mere human, but dodged it easily and kept on dodging the attacks without breaking a sweat. It changed the blade to a lance and thrust forward to the young Spadra, but missed and stabbed the ground. "Oh, come on. You call that attack?" Nightmare taunted, getting the demon to be pissed. Naruto then brought left hand, unleashing a fireball into the creature's face and blinding him for an opening to end this. He was about to attack, but something happens. Azrath Metrian Zinthos. A massive anti-light black curled hand appeared to grab Cavalier and launch him into a building, almost crushing him in the rumble. Nightmare was a little surprised and impressive, sensing some demonic energy nearby that is like his. Half-demon was the best way to think of it, and the young man turned his attention to see a familiar face he hadn't seen a year ago, who is a member of the Teen Titans, Raven. Before a word could be shared, the demon Cavalier got out of its trap and rushed towards Nightmare, but he brought out his sword and pushed forward to stab into the heart of the demon, killing it. "Really, dude? I haven't seen my friend and you come to attack me from behind. Damn, I thought you demons have manners, but I have been wrong before. And one more thing," Nightmare said, stopping as he pulled Rebellion out and started his next attacks. He launched his sword up before drawing out his new devil arm Cerberus and unleashed a blizzard to freeze the arms to the legs of the demon. He put his new weapon away to draw ebony and ivory to blow the demon's limbs off. Rebellion falls to the ground but was caught when Nightmare jumped into the air and got it in his hands for the final attack. Jackpot. With a powerful downward strike followed by red demonic magic and flames, Cavalier was destroyed and pieces of himself were launched around the area, some hitting the broke bike to spark something interesting. "Did you have to say it?" Raven asked. "Yeah, and nice to see you again, Raven," Nightmare greeted as he put his weapons away. "You too," Raven said with a small smile. Naruto smiled before going to his right to notice something interesting and cool happening before his eyes, which can wait for a moment as he walked to talk with his friend. "I never know that you were half demon, Raven, but that explains a lot," he said, which frightened her, but the young man saw this and told her to calm down. "Jill Ray, I don't care, and in fact, I'm half demon too." "How?" "Well, a long story, but you should have noticed before. I mean, I do things that no normal human can do, demonic magic and badass skills. I guess that makes sense and never thought of it as you don't seem like a demon. See? Even devils can be human as my grandfather did and saved humanity for the cost of his powers." Raven was speechless and should have seen the signs of Naruto being a half-demon like her, but he seemed so unlike anything she saw and thought of back then to now. Seeing her in deep thought, Naruto walked up to her and said, "If you need help, I would be happy to help you better understand and control your demon blood. Ray. You seem to have problems like I once did." This was a surprise of information for Raven. "You lost control?" Raven questioned. "Yeah, I did and was a son of a bitch to control, but I got myself back in line and took training, which I'm happy to help. After all, we half-demons got to stick together," Naruto said before using magic on the bike and pieces of the demon to create his new devil arm. Within a flash of lightning, the whole bike transformed into a hell of a nice ride for the young man. The ride was a black motorcycle created from a fusion of a normal motorcycle and sections of Cavalier's demonic metal armor, with a front fairing that resembles Cavalier's helmet, batwing-like decorative extensions to the side fairing and double-sided serrated blades, extending from the point where the front fork meets the wheel. Raven was impressed by this and more so when Naruto got on to offer her a helmet. "Want to ride? I have a few books of spells to help you with your training to control your demon blood back at my bar," Naruto offered. Raven blushed a little at this kindness and always liked that about the white-haired knight, as he always treated her like a human being. Naruto always looks around people, being friends or enemies he can understand. He never takes the easy way or seeks power to get strong, no, instead he trains and becomes strong to protect the people he cares about. "Yes, I would like that," Raven said as she took the purple helmet and sat behind Naruto, who smirked before starting up his new ride, having lightning spark to life. Naruto smirked as he drove off with his new ride and Raven by his side. What a fun night and great jackpot to more to come. Gotham's Park. In one of Gotham's parks, the clean and nice place to go on for a nice sunny day like this. We see a pair walking in the park for their date to enjoy. The first was Naruto, who wears red pants with 2 black belts wrapped around his right thigh, a black leather belt, black gloves, and high black boots. His coat is much basic in design, with an upturned collar and short sleeves with black cuffs, though the coat lacks coattails. Underneath the coat, he wears what appears to be a black long-sleeved shirt with a red vest with black clasps over it. Sometimes his perfect amulet can be seen but is rare and few know of its origin. The second was Barbara Akachita, who black overcoat and hat to better conceal her animal features from behind, as she wore a black tube top with a matching pair of black micro shorts and black boots for the time being. Her tail was hidden in her coat. Naruto had thought of taking Barbara out on a date to relax and enjoy the peace and quiet together. Of course, he can take her on a dinner date, but her looks would give her away for a good number of reasons. The young spadra decided a walk through the parks can work and maybe home-cooked dinner, but back to the pair. They were walking, arms linked, with Barbara resting her head on Naruto's shoulder, with a soft yet happy smile on her lips, as she was happiest she's ever been. She finally had found someone who accepted her. Despite her extra features, Naruto was also happy, as he had a calm smile on his lips and felt at peace, much happier than he ever heard in a long time. "You seem to be in a very good mood," Barbara noticed. "Why shouldn't I? I'm hanging out my sexy kitty on a date and maybe a promise for a home-cooked meal for dinner," Naruto said. "Oh, dinner now? That sounds perfect," the auburn head purred, looking forward for dinner and desired to try her mate's home-cooked meals. "Yeah, I can thank one hell of a butler for teaching me how to cook great 5-star meals, so a special treat will come to my kitty. I will forward to that my knight in shining armor." As the pair went to enjoy their date, they were unaware that someone was watching them and glaring at the certain cheetah villainous. Before Naruto and Barbara could get some ice cream to enjoy on their walk, something happened. Cheetah. Both Naruto and Barbara turned to see someone that they were both familiar with, that person being Diana herself, standing there in her hero outfit with a hard look and glare on her face towards one person that dared to steal someone she cares away about from her. The black-haired Amazon then charges a cheetah. "Wait. Diana, St. Naruto tried to stop her but was ignored as Diana tackled Cheetah into the park. "OS," he said, knowing that things would get out of hand quickly and that he'd need to stop this. Naruto didn't want to deal with Diana now, but he knew that it would happen sooner or later. He was unsure when, but he needed to put a stop to this fight first. He summoned one of his swords and quickly followed the two to stop the fight. MEANWHILE. Diana had grabbed Cheetah by her coat and threw her into trees, but the cheetah ex-villainess tore her own coat up with her claws and caught herself before crashing into the trees. She glared at her ex-arch-rival and was pissed at her for ruining a good date. Diana glared back before drawing her sword out and charged at Cheetah with a swing of her blade, causing Cheetah to dodge her attacks at different speeds and angles. Cheetah flicked her fingers and with her claws out, started to return attacks, which Diana brought her arms up and blocked the fury of attacks with her bracelets. The Amazon then broke the attack off, having Cheetah flip back and suddenly smirked all of a sudden. "That trick always impresses me, Diana, but I've learned a few things from Naruto," Cheetah said as she stood up and smiled that her sparing lessons with her mate paid off in more ways than one. Diana then noticed pain in her left arm and looked down to see 2 claw marks on her. She then glared back at Cheetah of mentioning Naruto. "What did you do to him, Cheetah?" Diana demanded, which confused Cheetah greatly while she blinked. "Do to him? I have done nothing wrong to him. I haven't even committed a crime since I've been with him, unlike you, but we did have a nice night," Cheetah replied as she licked her claws and smirked, making Diana very mad and getting her to charge and attempt to land a punch on Cheetah's face. Diana was stopped when someone blocked her path and she was shocked to see who it was. Barbara was shocked as well, but also very happy to see who protected her. Naruto stood before Diana with his second sword from his grandfather and mother known as the Yamato, a larger than normal okatana. He used the sheath to block the attack and before using his strength to push the Amazon back away from them. Diana was very confused by this action and had an idea that Cheetah was behind this, which is wrong, and would find out the hard way. "Naruto. Whatever hold Cheetah has over you, you have to fight it," Diana exclaimed, believing that he was being controlled somehow. Naruto just looked confused and asked, "Fight what? What are you talking about?" Upon hearing this, Diana simply turned her gaze back to Cheetah as she glared and said, "Cheetah. Whatever you've done to him, I will find a way to free him from you." Cheetah merely scoffed as she relaxed with a hand on her hip, knowing Naruto would protect her. "I haven't done anything to him, except give him the love he deserves, which he has returned in full. Of his own volition, I might add," she said while draping herself around Naruto while holding him close and resting her head on his shoulder. Diana was about to retort but was frozen stiff by what Cheetah said next. "In fact, I simply told him of my love and he accepted it. Which is more than I can say for you, considering how you led him on as if he were a dog or a pet and then hurt him." Diana was frozen in shock with wide eyes as she was told this. However, that shock quickly turned into anger as she'd been shouting, "How dare you? I have never once hurt Naruto. Nor have I led him on as you so graciously put it." Ochita purred out, "So you mean to say that you didn't realize that Naruto's leaving the Justice League and staying away from the Watchtower was around the same time something happened between the two of you? That makes you cruel and ignorant." Diana was getting angrier and was about to retort until Naruto shouted, "Enough." While exerting a portion of his power, causing a small shockwave to blow through the area, shutting up both Diana and Cheetah, who got launched back a bit and landed on her ass because she hadn't expected the sudden push. Naruto glared at them as if he were chastising children and said, "Both of you are acting like children." Turning to Barbara he said, "Barbara," this shocked Diana at how casually he called Cheetah by her real name, with Cheetah only fixing herself to look at him sultrily due to his dominance. "I'm sorry if I hurt you, however, you don't have to defend me, I can fight my own battles, but thank you for doing so anyway." Cheetah simply stood up before smiling, "It's alright, I know it was an accident, but you'll have to make it up to me later," she replied with her tail slowly swaying in a seductive manner. Naruto simply smirked at her before turning to Diana, losing his smirk. "As for you," Naruto gave Diana a very heavy glare, which caused her to shrink back under his glare and, for some reason, shiver excitedly, but before she could on why that is, Naruto continued, "You are in the wrong here, because there is nothing wrong with me." "What?" Diana asked, completely in shock, "But I thought." "You thought what?" Naruto exclaimed as he began stalking towards Diana, with her backing up into a tree, too afraid to look away. As he made his way towards Diana, Naruto kept talking, "Did you forget that I can't be controlled? Nothing works on me. Whether it be hypnosis, drugs, or magic. You would know this if you would have paid attention to me instead of shrugging me off in the past when we fought certain enemies in favor of Superman. You see, unlike you, I told you how I felt face to face. No leading you on, no teasing, nothing. I told you how I loved you, but what did you do?" At this point, Naruto was right in front of Diana with his power now visibly wafting off of his body in anger. Diana was afraid as she had never seen Naruto this mad before, especially not towards her, but now. She didn't know what to do, and that scared her. Cheetah, however, was licking her lips while she rubbed her thighs together in an attempt to keep her desires in check at seeing her man putting someone in their place. She knew that Naruto was definitely getting lucky tonight and that she was lucky she got the tube top that was almost like a sports bra, or she was sure her nude would have been visible by now. "I ran," Diana said in a quiet voice that showed how scared she was now. "You ran. Instead of trying to give me an answer or even asking to give you time, you ran. And who did you run to without question?" Naruto shouted, his power pulsing even harder. I don't," Diana was stuttering as her mind couldn't comprehend her situation anymore. "You ran to Superman. The very next day, I tried to approach you, and instead, I see you kissing Superman." Naruto continued shouting while looking at Diana as her eyes widened. However, because he was so focused on Diana, he missed how Cheetah seemed to be looking around as she heard something swiftly approaching. Before Cheetah could warn Naruto, he was suddenly launched into a tree, breaking it upon impact. "Naruto!" Cheetah and Diana exclaimed before Cheetah ran over to make sure he was okay. She knew he would be, but that didn't stop her from worrying about him. "Ugh," Naruto groaned while Cheetah helped him up before he looked and glared at the sudden newcomer. "Superman." Apparently, the blue tights-wearing Boy Scout heard shouting and thought Diana was getting attacked. However, upon seeing who it was he slammed into, Superman blinked in surprise and shock at seeing Naruto being helped up by Cheetah as one of his arms and apparently a rib or two were broken. The latter not so easily visible, the arm, however, was very clearly mangled as seen by how it was currently bent and twisted in a way that it shouldn't have been. Diana covered her mouth in shock as she gasped at seeing Naruto's arm. She knows he can take a beating as she's seen him get stabbed, shot and crushed all in one day and then get back up like it was nothing, but that doesn't mean it wasn't any less scary when he got hurt. "Naruto?" Superman asked, completely shocked at his old friend and fellow founder being the one he attacked. "This is just great," Naruto groaned out in frustration and pain. "You're the last person I wanted to deal with when I'm like this." Everyone was confused by what Naruto, but it was then they noticed Naruto's mangled arm shaking. Looking at it, they saw it started to turn black with a scaly look as it began sectioning apart with a burnt orange glow appearing between the sections. His fingers and hands began to glow orange as well, while he grew claws and spikes began appearing on his elbow and out of his shoulder. All of them were shocked at the sight of Naruto's arm, having never seen anything like this before. Or at least, two of them haven't. For Diana had recognized this arm, it was one time when she had gotten severely hurt when facing Aries, and only Naruto was with her. She remembered how Naruto seemed to have struggled against himself before both of his arms changed to look like it did now and had begun encroaching the rest of his body while he completely laid waste to Aries. It took the combined effort of Superman, herself, Green Lantern, and many others of the Justice League to finally stop him from killing Ares and pin him in one place. However, it took Supergirl, Huntress, Flash, Black Canary, Cyborg, and Zatanna to finally break through the anger, rage, and destructive tendencies he had been experiencing full force from his demon half. After finally managing to calm him down, he had locked himself in his room for near a month, with no one getting even a glimpse of him before he had finally managed to get coaxed out. Anyways, returning to the present, Superman softly landed on the ground before he put his hands up in a non-threatening manner. "Naruto, I need you to calm down, okay? We all need you to calm down before you do something that hurts anyone or yourself." However, Naruto wasn't hearing any of it as he shouted, "Shut up." This sent out another pulse of power from Naruto much stronger than before, causing trees and plants to bend away from him before he continued talking. "I don't want to hear anything from you, Superman. I don't want to look at you, I don't want to be near you, I don't even want to hear your name." As Naruto continued shouting, his power continued pulsing, now pushing solely against Superman, as seen by the grooves he was causing from getting pushed back. Cheetah, who was no longer holding Naruto up as he stood on his own, and Diana looked to see a horn growing out of Naruto's head, while his neck and part of his face began to match his arm. "Do you have any idea the pain I went through because of you and your indecisiveness? The pain I felt when the woman I loved chose you over me. The pain I felt whenever I so much as heard her name be spoken." Naruto was now stalking towards Superman, while the leg on the same side of his now transformed arm began to change as well and pierce through his boots and pants, while the half of his face fully changed and his eye turned a burnt orange color, truly showing what Naruto was. Half human and half demon. And the part that made this scarier was how the Yamato seemed to be angrily pulsing in his, now fully healed, demon hand. Naruto, now within range of Superman, raised his sword in preparation to strike with Superman being unable to move due to the fear being placed in him from Naruto's power and the knowledge that Naruto's swords could hurt him due to technically being magic. Demonic magic, sure, but still magic all the same. Right as Naruto was about to swing his arm down, he suddenly stopped when Cheetah wrapped her arms around him. "Naruto. Please. This isn't who you are. You told me that you would never give in to the demon inside of you. So please, don't do it. Don't break your promise." Cheetah shouted due to the incredibly loud sound of wind being caused by Naruto's pulsing, unstable power. Hearing Cheetah's voice, Naruto slowly put his arm back down while his demonic looks began to recede and his power settled. Once he was completely back to normal, Naruto turned and saw Cheetah looking at him with tears in her eyes before he wiped them with a smile and said, "Thank you for not giving up on me." This made Cheetah smile to see her mate return to normal, but also brought a feeling of hurt to Superman and Diana at realizing that they had given up on him. For Superman, it was because he had sworn to never hurt an innocent in any way, shape or form, but not only had he done just that to an innocent. He had caused pain to one of his very friends, and that was even worse than hurting a random innocent. For Diana, this pain was because of all that she had finally realized. Her friend, her best friend, had been in pain for all this time, and she never noticed. It hurt to realize how she had been so ignorant of the one she called her best friend that it took one of her rogues to practically spell it out for her. It hurt that her presence brought him pain. And it hurt how her ignorance and inability to respond to his feelings had been the very cause of all of this. While Superman and Diana were reeling from the shock of the pain the two of them brought their friend and comrade, Naruto had separated from Cheetah before turning and slicing the air beside him, creating a portal. This caught Superman's and Diana's attention as they saw Naruto slowly walk in with Cheetah while hearing him say, "I'm sorry about our date. It was supposed to be a fun night, but now it's just been one big headache." Cheetah simply smiled before shaking her head and replying, "It's fine, well I am upset at our date being ruined. I know that this was more of a strain on you than it was for me. So let's just go home and sleep so we can start tomorrow fresh." As the portal closed, Superman and Diana could hear Naruto's echoed response, "Yeah, I'd like that." And with that, Superman and Diana were now left in an empty and slightly destroyed park with a lot to think about. Time skip. Wayne Manor. Next day we see Naruto in Wayne Manor, the studies and is not alone, having Damien reading a book on World War II by his older brother, request to study and find something fun to read. Across from them is Raven reading a few spell books about the demonic nature and ways to control it. The young Sparta had thought of hanging out with his little brother for the rest of the night and his friend tag along as she wanted to learn from the books he has. He did finish his date with Barbara and the two had a very hot dessert in bed, if you catch the meaning, but moving on. "You seem to be trouble," Raven said, sensing her friend having mixed emotions and also felt a spike of demonic energy from him yesterday. Naruto sighed and said, "Yeah, you can say that, but felt some of that trouble left off my shoulders." "You don't say, Naruto, you don't say. You want to talk about it?" she offered, wanting to talk with her friend and help him out as he is doing for her. The white-haired Sparta hummed in thought, having mixed thoughts of sharing what happened yesterday, but wasn't sure yet. A story for another time, Ray. I got some things to work with, but I'm grateful that you ask, and I will tell you when I'm ready, Naruto said with a smile on his face, which causes Raven to blush a little, but control herself, but still had a smile forming up on her lips. How do you balance with your life, brother? Damien asked. Naruto shrugged his shoulders and said, sometimes I don't even know. I just go with it, have help from time to time, or one win the one thing I liked to say when I was a kid. Don't you dare say it, Raven said, half snapped, but was more focused on the book she was reading. Naruto just smirked at that and would respect this, just this one time. You and father have a good number of things in common. Maybe, maybe not. I think everyone is different from the other. Maybe have a quirk or two from the original, but we all our own person. Soon enough the three kept enjoying the afternoon in the studies and having talks going on from time to time before the young Sparta had to leave with his friend for the today. Naruto had a feeling that next following days that something big was coming, a storm was coming, and that storm had a certain assassin name on it. Fading away by fall to spring. At noon in Gotham, we see our white-haired hero in a party for high-rich people and was taking Bruce's place for this noon party. He would be honest, he's not a rich party person and would rather do some jobs missions, but this was a way to cool off after what happened a few days ago with a certain super pair. And of course, for the old man to finish his business as a CEO before going patrol tonight as it might be a long one. Naruto wore a black dress suit, a blue tie with a red pin in it, black dress shoes, and an old royal pocket watch that belonged to his grandfather. The pocket watch is nothing special, it just tells time. The young Sparta keeps anyway and reminds him of the times he had before the fire and the demonic creature that killed his family. He sighed before putting his watch away and shook painful memories away as they may be gone but live in his memories and heart. He loves them and the family he has now. Soon enough, Naruto's attention was brought back when he felt someone tapping his shoulder and turned around to see who got his attention, which he became a little surprised of who is a young stunning woman with blonde hair that reaches to her chin and grey blue eyes. She wore a white dress that had the middle open close to her belly and bare backside and dress heels. The young man was surprised by shook that off and see what she wants. Yes miss? Naruto asked as he placed his right in his pocket. Yes, I was wondering if you have seen Bruce Wayne by any chance, the blonde said. Naruto raised an eyebrow at that and said, no as Bruce is at a broad meeting at Wayne Enterprise and won't be here today, but why ask me for Gotham's top playboy whereabouts? That's a shame, I was hoping we can talk of ideas I have to share. And to answer your question, you're one of his wards, are you not? She said with a small smirk. Naruto coughed at that remake and know it was true, again can work and can be trouble. Right, I can understand that, and interdictions I believe are required as I was raised to be a gentleman. Naruto Uzumaki at your service, my lady, Naruto greeted loyal like to that of a king which the blonde woman giggled at his greeting. Nice to meet you Naruto. Samantha Vanover, she greeted which made the young man surprised at this. Vanover huh? I heard rumors that the Vanover were a very wealthy family and high secret, but I can see I was wrong. Because all I see is an amazing woman with great standards, Naruto said with a smirk that caused Samantha to blush a little and smiled back. Really now? Great standards. What we're expecting, Uzumaki. Please Naruto, Samantha, I don't go for formalities these days. I was expecting high rich state people like White House famous. I'm glad that Gotham has some people to make a difference. Samantha smiled at that and could see that this was going to be interesting. She was originally going to comfort Bruce and push it forward, but is glad that her meeting with the young man is coming along great as they talked for a good while. I see. I'm sorry for your loss, Naruto said, feeling a little bad bring up the topic of her father. It's alright. My father was old and very sick. He knows he didn't have long but was stubborn and a warrior in the end. I think today is the first day I feel good about talking about the subject, Samantha honestly said. Yeah, I can understand that, the young Sparta said, understanding and know firsthand of the loss of family, but was healed over the years with a new family and loved ones he has. Do you have any other relatives? He asked, changing the topic. I have a brother, stepbrother who was found by my father and raised for greatness but stubborn to see it and is more a solider than anything, she answered. You don't say? I can relate. Soon enough and before their talks could keep up, Naruto's phone ringed and caused him to groan as he saw it was a message from home, something has come up. I'm afraid we will have to cut this short, Samantha, but I have a family emergency that requires my attention. I do enjoy our conversation and hope we can have more like it, Naruto said, enjoying the blonde's company which she admits it as well. I understand as I have meetings coming up soon. And I do hope we can keep our conversation going. Who knows, maybe it would be over dinner. Samantha offered with a smile on her lips and got close to Naruto. I think I can try it out. How about you? He asked. We will see, she said before kissing the white-haired young man's cheeks and walked away with a sway of her hips, sending a show to her company. Naruto smiled a little before cleaning his cheek from the kiss mark, and this noon was not so bad after all. I'm starting to think I have such luck with women, Naruto admits as he leaves the party for his ride coming and was unaware of a pair of eyes were watching him. Samantha was watching Naruto with great interest and her attention was on the young man, fully. She pulled her phone out of her bag and sent a message to her informants of someone to keep an eye on. The day was not so bad and very interesting to enjoy. Wayne Manor. Naruto had walked to Wayne Manor after his ride drops him off and knocked on the door, which was answered by the butler, Alfred himself. Welcome back, Master Naruto, Alfred greeted. Good afternoon, Alfred, Naruto greeted back as he enters the manor and felt at home. Even he had moved to his own place, but always felt home at Wayne Manor. Is the old man back? The blonde asked, already knowing the answer, but ask anyway. No, Master Bruce is still at his daily work and was wondering if you can speak to young Master Damien of some codes to follow, the butler replied. Naruto hummed in thought, seeing what Bruce was talking about and why he wanted him to talk with Damien, as he was the best option to talk about lowering the deadly methods and no killing criminals rule. Very well, where's Damien? Naruto asked, having a plan in mind to talk with his younger brother. In the study to the cave, Alfred simply replied. Right. And will you mind some tea, Master Naruto? No, coffee please, Alfred. Right away, sir. Naruto then headed to the study, which enters the Batcave by going to the grandfather's clock and turn the pointer finger to location, then the door opens. He also notes that Raven had left and taken some of the books he offered to her, which was a little sad about it as he wanted to hang out with her like old times, but maybe later, and now it was time to help his little brother. Naruto saw Damien taking some deep breaths after a workout and spoke, drink some water, little brother, it would help. Damien did as he was told and took some sips of his bottle of water. What brings you back, brother? Damien asked. A few things, to relax and all, but mostly to hang out with my little brother and have a talk, a very important one, Naruto replied. What kind of talk? The young boy asked. Well, Damien, I understand that Roz and your mother Talia trained you to be an assassin and criminals must be killed but not here. If you are going to work with the old man, you can no longer do that and must be a better person than the ones we take to justice, it better that way and shows we are better than that. Damien stays quiet, thinking long and hard of what Naruto had told him. But you killed too, Damien pointed out, getting Naruto to be serious. How did you know this? Naruto asked. I hacked into the Batcave computer and saw the reports of all of your past missions that father kept unrecorded, including the various demons and such, a killer, Damien answered. He's is his father's son. Naruto sighed and said, I killed, yeah I do, but don't enjoy it or take pleasure for it. I kill demons, not because I enjoy it, but because my job to do it and go against the mindless or bloodthirsty demons that cross over from hell to the human world. I do it because I have to and protect others from the things that go bump in the night as no one can't handle them. Trying to capture or send them back would only cause more harm than good. Damien was in deep thought of what his brother had told, seeing that the young Sparta was right and had to think about it more. Naruto then walks away, leaving his young brother in his thoughts and hope he got through to him. Time skip. Sometime later and after a good talk with Bruce of having Damien becoming the new Robin and help handle district plans that are in Gotham, we now see the three heroes leaving the area of burned down place and rain falls down. They found clues that lead Batman, Nightmare and Robin to park that hasn't been used for years and found a familiar doctor that was working with Slade by force as he has his family and would kill them if he backs out from the new deal that was made, the super soldiers program up and running in the next day, which was down before that. Men bats, ninja men bats, very dangerous and evil. Nightmare had used his sonic batarangs and flamethrowers to deal with the flying ninjas, which were a quick escape, and the doctor was in good hands for the time being. With information and heading to Ra's stronghold, which was the best and strongest of where district would be at, but something was up and strange. No guards and the whole place was left clean of everything, strange. Very strange indeed. During the search, Nightmare had found a room that made his fist clenched and close on drawing blood when seeing the room filled with chains and blood on the floor. Someone had been tortured and the young Spadra pray it's not who he thinks it is. The masked bat then heard from Batman that the doctor's family was saved and they can leave. However, and before leaving, Nightmare noticed that Robin was hiding behind a corner and looked to see what's up. I have your mother, Damien. I will give you 48 hours before I end her suffering. Make your mother proud, kid, a voice spoke on the small TV, which was crushed in Robin's hands in anger for seeing District holding his mother's by the hair and punching her for more torture. Anger built up within Naruto as he watched the scene play out and know that blood was now drawn, which he would end it. He will follow Damien and keep things quiet with the old man until the time was right. Time skip. Oil platform, lower level. Naruto was right, Damien would lead him to where District was hiding and rescue Talia. Those things were in the young Spadra's mind, of course, he was going to give Slade the beating of a lifetime and might beat him to each of his life. Naruto was glad that Damien used a boat to get to the oil platform and not swim the whole way there, but a 1-mile swim to the place was better and smart. For him, well, he used one of the Batwings and used the stealth mode to get to the place. He then exited the plane before jumping on the platform and entered the place with great ease, special thanks to a certain cat bugler he learns from some time ago to get into place and picklock a high-bolted lock. By entering the place and stealthy taking down the armed men on his way to find Talia and Damien, Nightmare noticed green water coming in and know what it is due to Ra's sharing knowledge of the pit some time ago. Nightmare then heard sounds of someone punching a person and grunts in pain, which caused him to rush forward and head to the cavern. The cavern was dark but warm and had green light lighting up the place from the pits and saw ninja men bats hanging upside down. He hummed and thought before quickly placing some sonic bombs to surprise them and then looked to certain of the cave to see District punching Talia again with Robin cuffed and beaten a little to be forced to watch this. "It's over," District said, before pulling out his pistol and aimed at Talia, pushing it against her forehead and clicked the trigger, but never got the chance to pull it when Bat shuriken came out of nowhere and hit their making District grunted in the pain of the shurikens hitting his right arm and dropped the gun. This left him open for the next attack that a Nightmare jumped out of the shadows and launched a powerful right punch to the face that sends the one-eyed assassin flying to the wall, which caused it to break upon impact. Nightmare sighed, thinking it was done and walked over to help the woman he loves and his younger brother. He unlocked the cuffs from Damien and said, "You okay, kid?" "Why yeah. How did you find me?" Robin asked. "I follow you," Nightmare simply said before walking over to help Talia to be free, but cutting her ropes and helped her to stand on her feet, which she groaned a little. "You okay, Talia?" he asked. "I'm fine, beloved. I know you would save us," Talia said, rubbing her knight's masked face. "It's what I do, my queen." Before another word was spoken, Naruto felt something pulling his leg and his eyes widened in shock before pushing Talia to safety as he was pulled back. "Beloved." Talia called out and worried, seeing Naruto being pulled back to the hole that District created. Nightmare grabbed the ground with his clawed fingers and spoke, "Talia and Damien, get out of here and head to the bat. I will be right behind you." They didn't voice against him as they understand and know he would become after them, which Robin helped his mother to leave the place. Nightmare was then kicked in the face by District that caused him to let go and was now hanging upside down. The masked assassin then draw out his blade and was ready to end the knight's life for taking his place of being Ra's heir. Nightmare punched District in the face, which caused him to let his sword and then back elbows him in the face. He then used the sword to cut himself free and fall to the ground with his cape, helping him glide down to the platform below him, landing down. District jumped down and glared at the masked bat before drawing his bow staff for the fight that he had been dying to have. Nightmare glared back and was looking forward to sending District in a world of pain for what he did to Talia. The two started to circle each other for their long-awaited fight to happen. "It appears the game is over before it even begins," District said as he gripped on his bow staff. "I'm not playing games, Slade," Nightmare said as he clenched his fists, and their fight starts. District attacks first, which Nightmare blocks and causes the assassin to backstrike him, but the knight dodges it and kicks his attacker in the back. Slade grunted before attacking again with swings of his bow staff, but Naruto dodged or blocked the attacks. Nightmare then right kicked the masked assassin, but was blocked and strike, which was counter with a left swing kick to the face that sends the assassin down on the floor but got back up quickly. The masked knight then heard bats noises, which means that his sonic bombs did the trick and now they head up, which they would run into a trap. He can now fully worried his fight on District. Then the bats are men in the platform getting into their fight. District grunted at the setback but didn't let bug him on his fight and throw a flashbang that stunned Nightmare. Nightmare brought his arms up and blocked the ongoing strikes from the District, left to right to left of the bow staff hitting, which his armored gauntlets protect them. He then counters it by grabbing the staff and headbutted the assassin square in the face, sending him off and groaned in pain, which allowed the knight to attack fully. Nightmare launched a hailstorm of punches to District before throwing a downward strike that broke his mask apart and took the bow staff, which he breaks it with his right knee. Slade coughed a bit in pain before slitting the ground and draw out his next blade. Nightmare answered the challenge and draw out his sword, Yamato, and swung his blade to the assassin, which he answered, and the pair started the next round. Nightmare and District were evenly matched in terms of skill and swordsmanship, as sparks were flying as their swords hit each other. Block to block, counter to counter, and crossed swords can be heard. They soon locked swords each other, having heat burning in their blades, and glared deeply at each other, wanting to beat the other. The pair broke off, which allowed Deathstroke to attack, but Nightmare saw this and used his bat wrist blades to block the attack before launching the swords upwards in the sky. He then kicked the assassin into a wall by catching the swords in hand. "It's over, Slade," Nightmare said as he put Yamato away for the time being. "What are you?" Slade asked in deep hate, which he got his answer. Nightmare threw the sword, which missed Slade but launched a hard-earned punch to the face and grabbed him by the armor chest. "What are you waiting for? Kill me," Slade demanded. Naruto wanted to and would like to kill Slade for harming the woman he loves and the little brother he grown to care about. However, he can't and won't fall to his level, which he knows a better way and become a better person like he always is. "I won't kill you," Naruto started before placing an auto hook gun on Slade and was close on letting him go to the edge. "But doesn't mean I have to save," he finished before letting Slade go, and the hook gun fired a hook up to catch an upper support pillar above them. But the flip of his cape and forming to wings, Nightmare took off and left the place as it was coming down to the oil catching on fire and will send this place down to the ocean. Fight over, time to head home. Later. Gotham, night. Devil May Cry. It was a little past midnight when Naruto and Talia reached his apartment that was above the bar he owned. They had cleaned up the place that Deathstroke made and everything was taken care of. Right now, we now see Talia sitting on the couch with bandages wrapped around her arms and some wrapped around her chest while she relaxed in a pair of black yoga pants that hugged her hips and legs while she didn't wear a top since the bandages were doing a good job at covering her up. She then turned when she heard Naruto walking over to her and saw him holding an ice pack while saying, "Here, I got you some ice for your ribs." "Thank you, beloved," Talia said while gratefully taking the ice pack before slowly and carefully placing it on her ribs. "How are you doing?" Naruto asked as he sat next to her. Talia lightly chuckled and said, "I'm okay, this much is nothing for me. Though, that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt." Naruto moved closer. "I may not know very much in healing magic, but hopefully I can at least heal your injuries a bit," he said. With that, Naruto's hand began to glow light blue color as he placed them over her ribs before Talia lightly groaned as she felt the pain slowly disappear. Putting the ice pack down, Talia slowly began removing the bandages wrapped around her chest to reveal clean, unmarred skin, no purpling or bruising from her tender and cracked ribs. While she was looking at her sides, she seemed to notice Naruto looking away with a slight blush that caused her to smile. "Come now, beloved. Surely you aren't embarrassed by simply seeing my breasts. After all, we both know you've done far more than simply looking at my breasts," Talia said. Naruto sheepishly laughed while scratching the back of his head and said, well, that might be true, it doesn't change the fact that you are an incredibly beautiful woman and I am a young man who, despite having had relations with you before, still greatly respects females and would get embarrassed whenever a woman reveals herself in such a manner. Talia smiled mischievously before she moved behind Naruto and wrapped her arms around his neck, pushing her ample bust into his neck and head as she whispered in his ear, "I know, and it's because of how much of a gentleman you are that I fell for you, not just for your power. Besides, we both know," despite looking embarrassed. Talia then moved one of her hands down before lightly gripping Naruto's hardened member, getting Naruto to groan before she said that you are very much aroused by the sight of me and want nothing more than to ravage me like the first night we were together. She finished before licking Naruto's ear, causing him to shiver, while unaware of his eyes flashing red for a second. What about Damien?" Naruto asked. "He's with his father," Talia seductively said as she slowly began stroking Naruto's member through his pants. "Meaning we have the whole night to ourselves, BLOVED. LEMON, skip if you want." Talia's back suddenly hit the bed, giving her a moment to gather herself before Naruto was on her, groping her breasts while passionately kissing her. Talia moaned into the kiss as she grinding her hips into Naruto's, rubbing her moistening nether regions against Naruto's hardened member, giving herself more stimulation. Eventually, Talia began to think that Naruto was wearing too many clothes and apparently Naruto thought the same thing as she began to take off Naruto's shirt while he took off his pants before they reconnected their lips while Naruto began helping Talia out of her yoga pants, revealing her black lace thong while Naruto was left in his gray boxers. Eventually, Talia surprised Naruto when he felt her flip the two of them over so that she was on top while he was on his back. Looking at her, he saw her pull down his boxers, revealing his member before she took it into her mouth. Naruto began moaning while Talia's head began bobbing up and down his member while Naruto ran a hand through her hair and rubbed her scalp. After a few minutes, Naruto burst into Talia's mouth with a loud moan while Talia also moaned as she gulped down Naruto's cum. Upon finishing her drink, Talia looked at Naruto and mockingly asked, "Are you tired already, beloved? I thought you had more stamina than this." Hearing this, Naruto's eyes snapped open, revealing their new crimson color before Talia found herself on her hands and knees, with Naruto suddenly inserting himself into her moist nether region, causing her to scream out in pleasure. Leaning next to her ear, causing himself to go even deeper into Talia, Naruto said, "I thought you knew better than to tease me, beloved. After all, we both know that when it comes to our bedroom activities, I always leave you wanting more, even though your body can't handle it." Talia was biting her lip in an attempt to hold in her moans as she felt Naruto come into contact with the entrance to her womb. Normally, this would cause pain to women, but Talia loved it because it was with the one she loved and knew that he would never hurt her on purpose. Turning her head to look at him, Talia gave Naruto a slightly smug look with a slight blush and said, "Well, then what are you waiting for? Fuck me up." With that, Naruto grabbed her by her hips before he began thrusting into Talia, getting her to snap her head back with a loud moan, which turned into screams of pleasure as Naruto got her to experience climax after climax. As the night continued on, the two would switch positions and locations in the room, such as Talia riding Naruto on the bed, Naruto standing up while he thrust into Talia, Talia leaning against the wall, while Naruto thrust into her and held her leg up while they made out. Eventually, their time began to come down as Naruto knew he was reaching his end, while Talia was practically nothing more than a puddle of mush and pleasure as she let Naruto handle her body, while she couldn't moan anymore from how raw her throat was from all her screaming and moaning throughout the night. "Talia, I'm gonna come." Naruto grunted out as he kept thrusting into Talia while they were in missionary. "Inside. Release your seat inside me." Talia managed to moan out before they both lustfully kissed while they reached their final release for the night, with Talia's eyes rolling into the back of her head. Once they came down from their release, the two held separated, but still held each other as they panted before looking at each other with big smiles. "I love you, beloved," Talia weakly said as the exhaustion of being beaten by Deathstroke and then having so many hours of sex was finally catching up to her. "I love you too, my queen," Naruto replied as he held her close to him. The next morning, and lemon. As the sun began to rise, a ray of sunlight made its way through the blinds before coming into contact with the sleeping face of Talia. Feeling the light, she began to stir awake before lightly yawning as she woke up with a smile before it turned into a frown upon realizing her beloved wasn't in bed with her. Sitting up, Talia winced as she felt sore from last night, she smiled at knowing he loved her, but she couldn't help the frown that returned to her lips at another thought. Whenever the two of them had sex, she would always get exhausted quickly, while Naruto would still be able to continue. Suddenly, she had a thought and knew Naruto was part of a prestigious bloodline since he told her about his heritage and being a descendant of the demon Sparta. She also knew that such bloodlines needed to be saved, and the only way for that was if the last remaining member acquired a harem. Talia finished her thought out loud with a thoughtful look. She knew that there were many women who found her beloved attractive, such as a certain cheetah and backward-speaking spellcaster. She was broken from her thought when the door opened and Naruto walked in with a bright smile on his face as he brought her breakfast. "Oh, good morning Talia. How are you?" Naruto said upon seeing her awake. Talia smiled at her beloved and replied, "I'm fine, though I am incredibly sore after last night." Naruto sheepishly laughed as he placed the tray of food in front of Talia before saying, "Sorry, I tend to zone out when I get worked up like that and I forget that I have to restrain myself when I'm with you." Talia smiled at him as she ate the food before saying, "It's fine, beloved, however, that is actually something I want to talk to you about." Naruto was confused and a little worried. "Okay, what did you want to talk about?" he asked. "It's about you restraining yourself. I know that when we make love that you satisfy me, but I also know that you are still capable of continuing hours after I finish, and I don't want you to suffer like that," Talia said with Naruto frowning before she continued saying, "And, as you and me both know, when noble bloodlines are close to extinction, the last male member often takes multiple lovers in order to potentially bring back the bloodline." Naruto furrowed his eyebrows as he slowly said, Are you telling me to get a harem?" Talia nodded her head as she moved the tray away from her and then moved closer to Naruto before grabbing his hand in between both of hers. "I know that this isn't an easy decision, but I want you to know that I am fine with it because this will allow you to better fill the hole in your heart with people who love you," she said. Naruto was shocked at what Talia was suggesting, but before he could say anything, Talia pulled him into a hug as she rested her head in the crook of his neck. "Please, don't deny yourself the opportunity to fill your heart with love or deny others the chance to love you. I know for a fact that you have a few other girls who love you, like a certain Reed and that backward-speaking spellcaster," Talia said. Naruto hummed in thought, seeing that Talia was right and hugged her back. "It would be new to me and something tells me that I won't be against it down the road. I will give a try Talia, my queen," Naruto said, which caused the brown-haired beauty to smile at this and could tell that their life was going to be interesting from now on. What if Naruto marries Talia al Ghul Justice League? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.